So hi guys, this is Puneet and you are watching Knowledgist. So most awaited vacancy Central Bank of India zone based officers नोटिफिकेशन रिलीज हो चुका है गाइस. सो हमारी तरफ से बैचेस अवेलेबल हैं, आप चाहें तो ज्वाइन कर सकते हैं. स्पेशल कोर्सेज अवेलेबल हैं बैच 2025. थोड़ा सा बात कर लेते हैं कोर्स के बारे में. तो सेंट्रल बैंक ऑफ इंडिया जोन बेस्ड ऑफिसर्स की वैकेंसीज के लिए हमारे पास कोर्सेज अवेलेबल हैं. आप जाके एक बार चेकआउट ज़रूर कीजिएगा. डिस्क्रिप्शन में आपको लिंक मिल जाएगा. ओके गाइस, सो द लिंक इज इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन गाइस. प्लीज चेकआउट वंस एंड कंप्लीट. आपको यहाँ पे जो भी ओवरऑल स्टडी मटेरियल चाहिए, क्लासेस चाहिए, एवरीथिंग इज अवेलेबल. ऑल द थिंग्स आर अवेलेबल, क्लासेस, लिटरेचर एंड द टेस्ट सीरीज एंड सो ऑन. सो please check out once. The link is in the description and the WhatsApp number is also in the description. Please check out once guys. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's see some important dates. So opening date for online registration is 21st of January 2025. रजिस्ट्रेशन स्टार्ट हो चुका है. एक बार अगर आपने अभी तक नहीं देखा है तो चेकआउट कर लीजिए, रजिस्टर कर लीजिए. देन द क्लोजिंग डेट इज 9th of February 2025. Closing date is very near. Please check out once. And the tentative date for online exam is March 2025. I think it will be the last of March. So please be prepared. And the date of interviews is not announced yet. So that's all about important dates. And this is the computer class. Let's talk about that. So there are 20 questions of 20 marks of computer and there will be 15 minutes for all these questions. आपको 15 मिनट मिलने वाले हैं 20 क्वेश्चंस के लिए. सो प्लीज थोड़ा सा ध्यान दीजिएगा. समटाइम्स क्वेश्चन थोड़े से लेंथी आ जाते हैं. there can be lengthy questions in which you will take time to read only the questions. So please थोड़ा सा तैयारी बढ़िया कीजिए. मैं अभी कुछ एग्जांपल्स भी लूंगा कि हाँ किस तरीके के क्वेश्चंस हो सकते हैं. देयर विल बी एग्जांपल्स इन दिस क्लास सो यू कैन गेट प्रिपेयर्ड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ क्वेश्चंस आर देयर, राइट? सो लेट्स मूव अहेड गाइस. सो इंटरनेट एंड नेटवर्क प्रोटोकॉल क्लास थर्ड गाइस. We have talked about the reference models, OSI model, TCP/IP model, and the difference between OSI and TCP/IP model, right? These all things we have talked about in the class 1 and class 2. Now it's time for IP addresses and network protocols, guys. Okay. So we are going to talk about the IP addresses, and there are many questions related with IP addresses. What is IP? What is IP address? Yes, both are different things. IP is a different thing and IP addresses are different thing. Okay. So don't worry about that. We are going to cover all about that. So let's go ahead and let's understand what is IP address and what is IP, right? So IP address and IP, they both are different thing. Okay. So an IP address represents a unique address that distinguishes any device on the internet or any network from another. So what we are trying to say, let's suppose if you want to order something on Flipkart, right? Then you have to provide your address by which they will deliver you your goods, right? Okay, great. But suppose that there is a similar address, right? There is a similar address similar to your address, right? Okay, what will happen? There will be a confusion. That's why there are no similar addresses. Every house number is different, right? Every colony name, every building name is different, right? So similarly, on internet, we have unique addresses for each individual device. It can be a mobile, it can be a smart bulb, it can be a smart TV, it can be a laptop, anything which connects to a network will have a unique address that will be called its IP address. Okay, remember it. Every device, even laptop, smartphone, your tablet, your smart bulb, or even your television, or anything which connects to a network will have a unique IP address, so that any data that should be delivered to it can be delivered to only that particular device. Okay. And what is IP? IP, or Internet Protocol, the full form of IP is Internet Protocol, defines the set of commands directing to the setup of data transferred through the internet on any other local network. So, IP is a protocol, Internet Protocol, right? Now, what is a protocol, guys? What is a protocol? Protocol are set of rules which defines how the data will be delivered or how anything will happen. So if you want to send some data or receive some data, so it is not that easy. Let's say, let's take our previous example. If you want to order something on Flipkart, you are providing them with details. Similarly, if you are requesting some data from Google or something, then you have to provide your details, right? So let's say request, then the sender IP address, right? Then the receiver IP address. I am trying to request through Google, right? So I have to mention that address, that on this address, my internet service provider should deliver this request, right? And some other things. So there will be a format like I am requesting a web page. I like my IP address to which the data should be delivered back, the receiver IP address to which the data should be or request should be delivered, and the other many other things. There are many other things. We will talk about it in later classes. But yes, that is a protocol. Basically, protocol arrange data in a particular manner so that the receiver can understand that this part is request, this part is sender IP address, this part is receiver IP address, this is the checksum, this is the other things, right? So these kind of things are there, right? This is a protocol. Okay. Now let's talk about IPv4, IP version 4. We are talking about IP version 4. This is very important. We are using IP version 4 for a very long time. It is a 32-bit unique addresses. So if there is a question, what is the size of an IP address? Then you have to mention the size of IP address is 32-bit, guys. The size of IP address is 32-bit. And these all are unique addresses. These all are unique addresses having an address space of 2 to the power 32. Now, range of IP address. Let's talk about range of IP address. So IP addresses basically starts from there can be a very small number. Very small means this 2 255 dot 255 dot 255 dot 255. Okay. So this is the range of IP address. It can start from here and the ending point is here. Okay. This is a octal representation. Remember this, it is an octal representation. So we are going to talk about different kind of representation in a few minutes, but still remember this, guys. Okay. Now let's talk about two types of notation of IP addresses. First one is dotted decimal notation, and the second one is hexadecimal notation. There are two kind of notations for IP addresses. Okay, remember it. There are two kind of notations. Like we can describe IP address or we can write IP address in two terms. Basically, first one is dotted decimal notation. This is the most common notation which we use, right? This is the most common notation that we use. And the second one is hexadecimal notation, right? Hexadecimal notation is the second one. It is important. Okay. So as you can see, there is an example of dotted decimal notation. Let me have another example. Let's say this, right? I'm sure you have seen this kind of IP addresses. Now, each part, each part represents 8 binary digits. Each part represents 8 binary digits. Okay. And 8 into 4 is equal to 32. Means 32 bits, right? Each binary digit represent a bit. Each binary digit represent a bit. That's why it is 32 bits, right? So we are using four parts basically, and each part represents 8 binary digits, and combining them makes them 32. That's why it is called a 32-bit IP address. I hope you will remember this, and we are going to talk about the four parts in the detail in few minutes, but still remember that. Okay. Now there is a hexadecimal notation. In the starting of hexadecimal notation, we will see 0x. 0x represents hexadecimal notation. Okay. 0x represents hexadecimal notation, guys. And the other part represents the binary digits. Okay. So it is clear that 75 in binary, sorry, 75 is in hexadecimal, and the binary conversion is this. 1D is hexadecimal, and the binary conversion is something like this, right? So we can write it in hexadecimal or in dotted decimal notations. And also we can use binary numbers, but yet 32 digits long binary number will be very hard to remember, right? Therefore, we normally use dotted decimal or hexadecimal notation. If you try to write in CMD ipconfig, then you will find both of these representations. Okay. There, both of these representations will be there. Okay. Remember that. Now, let's talk about some points about dotted decimal notation, because it is quite common to use dotted decimal notation. That's why we are talking about it. So the value of any segment is between 0 to 220, sorry, 255. Now, so let's say why this range? Because 0 in binary is this, and 255 in binary is this. That's why, that's why the range is from 0 to 255. Okay. I hope that is clear. I hope that is clear that any segment, let's say 192.11.26.121, right? So each of these can be from 0 to 255 only. Remember that. Okay, guys? There are no zeros preceding the value in any segment. So 054 is wrong and 54 is correct. Let's say we have taken an example over here, right? So I am not writing 011. I am not writing 026. I am writing 11 and 26, right? Because the preceding zeros are wrong. We cannot write or we cannot like include a zero before the number. Okay. So that is wrong. We have to ignore that. Then IP address are globally managed by Internet Assigned Number Authority, IANA. Full form can be asked. So remember it. IANA, Internet Assigned Number Authority, guys. And regional internet registries, RIR. Okay, remember that. So uh, let's take an example and let's understand what kind of IP addresses is right and what kind of IP addresses are wrong. Let's say I have a IP address. These are two IP addresses. Which one is right and which one is wrong? This one is right and this one is wrong. Why? Because any segment can be only between 0 to 255. And here we can see there is a 256. Therefore, it is wrong, guys. Right? I hope that is clear. Then there can be another example, guys. Let's say let's say I have an example something like this. So this is right and this is wrong because there cannot be a zero preceding any value, right? So it should be 1 1, not 0 1 1. Okay. Remember that. That is important. Okay. I hope that is clear. There can be a question like which of the IP addresses is right and which of the IP addresses are wrong. Okay. I hope that is clear, guys. Now let's talk about IPv6. IPv6. IPv6 was developed by Internet Engineers Task Force, IETF. Remember it? Full form can be asked. IETF, to deal with problem of IPv4 exhaustion. So there is a problem of IPv4 exhaustion. IPv4, the total number of IP addresses available is 2 to the power 32. 2 to the power 32 is somewhere around like 10 crore. But now we have more than 100 crore people in India, right? Therefore, we need a large number of IP addresses. So we have a solution of IPv6. IPv6, the size of IP address is 128 bits. Means we can have 2 to the power 128 addresses total. And that is a very big number. You cannot write it on paper easily, right? So that is a very big number. Therefore, that solves our problem of IP addresses exhaustion. Like the total number of IP addresses, just suppose if we are having like 100 crore population and everyone using a smartwatch, a smart tablet and a smartphone, like suppose let's take a average, every person have two devices. That is the average. So I need 200 crore IP addresses and that is not possible with IPv4. Therefore, we need IPv6. IPv6 have a very large number of IP addresses. IPv6 is a 128-bit addressing having an address space of 2 to the power 128, which is way bigger than IPv4, guys. Okay, so IPv6 resolves this issue. In IPv6, we use colon hexa representation. Colon hexa representation means the numbers are in hexadecimal format and we use colons to separate them. There are 8 groups and each group represent 2 bytes, or I can say 2 bytes means like 1 bit, sorry, 1 byte is equal to 8 bits means 16 bits, right? So 8 groups, 2 bytes each or 16 bits each. So it looks something like this, guys. Here it is a hexadecimal number. It is a hexadecimal number. Okay. These all are hexadecimal numbers and there are total 8 groups or 8 segments, guys. Each of 2 bits or 60, sorry, 2 bytes or 16 bits, guys. So it looks something like this. If they give you an example and ask which of them is a IPv4 example, then you have to choose the right one. It should be separated through the column and there should be only 0 to 9 and A to F. If there is a, let's say, L, M, Z, something like this, then it will be wrong. Only A to F and 0 to 9 should be included. In the IPv4 address, only 0 to 9 and A to F should be there. Okay. So it should look something like this. It can be important. So please take a screenshot, guys. So that's all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this class. And if you want to join our courses, the links are in the description. Please check out once. And if you have any queries, then please check out our WhatsApp number. You can communicate with us. Don't worry about it. And that's all for today. I will meet you in the next one.